Deuteronomy chapter 28. Which I want to interpretation too. Says somewhere, Obiante and some free Bible about Obiante.
All right, so we're going to go to the book of Psalms. All right, the bishop just explained how the so-called white man is your enemy. Okay, we're going to show you something else because we see that there's a heavy presence of Islam in Ghana.
They say over Ghana, you need to pray Muslims. You need to pray Muslims.
Psalms 83.
They say about Psalms chapter 83.
The book of Psalms chapter 83 verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
This is a prayer from King David, our forefather, to God.
William Paya, King David, all bo achin yangopon afaya hon, yen Israel for him.
For lo, thine enemies,
Thine who?
thine enemies make a tumult.
Bible say, ya time for MC Church of the ya time for Amide, a message ya modio home, a modio home, Ambaso say.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They that love thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They is plural. So God is talking about more than one person. Not only just the so-called white man, but other nations as well.
Bible said, "Day, I was a day, be brave." Bible can't about possible in other nations, so I don't want to try.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Taking crafty, slick, crafty counsel against thy people. Who's thy people? I'm looking at thy people right here because you are the Israelites. You're not Ghanaians. God never called you that. You are the kingdom of Judah. Come on.
Bible say, example, I'm not snazing no more doing how much someone to say you. Yen the real Jews no, Yangopon, you plan Yangopon, choose here.
And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
One way the nations has come, said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, is giving you different religions. Not only language and culture, but religion. God never gave you religion. God gave you laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. But these other nations, the so-called white man and the so-called Arab man, came and gave you Islam as well. Come on.
And to share your time for almost share, they say, oh, she share back when they say, back when I religion. Religion, I'm here, and they say,
they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent.
So all the nations came together with the so-called white man for one reason, and that is to cut off the nation of Israel. And so you won't remember who you are in these last days.
And the other nations in there, the extras no more bomb say yesterday. Yes, say Israel for no. So no more from Israel for people.
They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom.
So the number one nation that God mentions is the so-called white man. In the Bible, his name is Esau. Later, it was changed to Edom, which means red. Because they're not really white, they're red when you look at their complexion.
Ya time for Baku, the King and Gopo, a can once more Bible, my friend. You know, Edom. Edom, no, you want a possibility, and then you found one possibility. You found Edom. Edom, not such as a Omega Coco, we want possibility or Niputa or Coco.
Now, let's read the second person on the list after the so-called white man.
And the Bible can you time for a possibility, Echi.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the who?
And the Ishmaelites.
Who are the Ishmaelites?
Ishmaelite. How many Ishmaelites now?
Who are the Ishmaelites today?
Ishmaelites now, and they bring how many wine? Huh? Ishmaelites. How many wine? How many wine?
Muslims, very good. So God says the Ishmaelites and Esau, the so-called white man, came together to cut us off. How did Ishmael come together with the white man to cut us off? Get me that in Deuteronomy.
You see, I tell me you know about the kind. I'm not there for that kind of. Tell me not can I possibly any day a Muslims for.
What we're looking at here, step forward.
This is about the time why Muslims.
This is before the transatlantic slave trade.
Way before transatlantic slave trade, no.
This is called the sub-Saharan slave trade.
Where sub-Saharan slave trade, where Muslim for slave and Kwasuma, yes we are calling him because.
When the Arabs came over here to the west coast and took the Ghanaians, the kingdom of Judah, and sold you to Saudi Arabia, brought you over to Iraq, brought you over from Mozambique, over to Asia, that was the Arab man who did that.
It's never fun to buy now. Almost a year in the Echo Saudi Arabia, Echo Mozambique. It's the young Muslims.
See, all right here. Arab slave master, right?
Arab slave master,
all right, and this is our people right here on their knees begging for mercy. Okay, so the Arab man had a part in our slave trade and our destruction. Listen to this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64.
This is what Moses prophesied to us when we came out of Egypt.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
So God said he would scatter us. How did God scatter us? By what method of transportation? Ask him, you. How did God scatter us? Did we fly? Was the plane? Did we take a plane? If our plane went into slavery? When the Arabs came and took us into slavery? Ships. Very good. Come on.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods.
So God says when you go into slavery, you're going to serve other gods. And we know that there's only one true God. So what is God making reference to? Idolatry. When you serve these other religions like Islam, Christianity, white man Christianity, Buddhists, all these other religions, God said that is idolatry. Those are other gods. Because God gave you your own laws, statutes, and commandments. Come on.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Even wood
in the cross, the Christian cross. Wood, even wood. Come on.
Christianity.
And what?
Even wood and stone.
Even wood and stone. We have the Kaaba stone in Mecca that many of you who follow Islam you bow down to. God says you are not supposed to do that. Name the tribes that you just told me. The sister with the tattoo on her forehead that was following Islam.
Yeah, he's from
in Tree. Say it so they can understand.
Ofri, Islam or northern region or tribal mark or the Dagomba Fono, any Kafa Fono, Sisara Fono, our more tribal marks or Milo, and our Kawasan.
So this is what happens when we follow these other religions. Because here you have a sister that's an Israelite, but she's following Islam. She's following the religion of her oppressor because this is what they taught us in slavery. If your slave master was Muslim, guess what? You became Muslim. If your slave master was Christian, you became Christian. If your slave master was Catholic, you became Catholic.
Slave master. I was Muslim, also there. We should be Muslims. Slave master, Christian, Catholic, also there. We should be Catholic.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 21 and verse 5.
So this is a law that God has written in the Bible. Because we see many of our women that are Muslim and they have this tribal tattoo on their forehead. So this is what God has to say about tattoos.
Leviticus chapper 21 and verse 5. They shall not make boldness upon their head.
So one law You're not supposed to bald your head clean shaven like Michael Jordan.
Emran baako nyankopɔn de maa sɛ ɛyi kwan sɛ bɛrima oyi ti sakola ɛyi kwan sɛ bɛrima oyi ti sakola.
Why? Because that's an Egyptian custom. These laws was given to us when we left Egypt because God wanted to separate us from the ways of Egypt, from the culture of Egypt and all that we learned.
But Bible says oyi ti sakola oye Egypt for amambre na also ye ɛyi kwan sɛ oyɛ sa Israelite for. Come on.
Neither shall they shave off the cord of their beard.
So you men, you're not supposed to shave off your beard. Your beard is a badge of manly dignity. The Israelites always had a beard. That's where the so-called the Muslims get it from. They get it from us. They get it from the Bible. Okay, God says you men, you're not supposed to shave your beard.
After Lord back we make answer Bema and you can be here in your member but you might be this in every Sakola. Bible said you can say yes, sir. Bema also go here in Bia. Bema a bad say Bema also go here. Not just away Bema. You the one Sakola also about because of your bad man or by winning to Bema you can say you about the Sakola so come
on. Nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
How do you make cuttings in your flesh today?
How do
you make cuttings in your flesh?
I don't know who's ready to try on. I just say Muslim, you know Muslim, the gum of Pony Kakana from a maximum. I don't know who's the yes idea.
Okay, sharp knives and so forth, right? Getting tattoos because you're cutting and you're marking your flesh. Come on. That's it on there. So God says you're not supposed to do that. Right? You women, you're not supposed to get Leviticus 19. You're not supposed to cut or mark your skin. Yeah, so if you have tattoos from here on out, no more tattoos.
Bible say Bema, so we do want to Bible can you pass me you to Sakoda, maybe your body say free work. And the man your tattoos on them, you know mamma me son man Munja, and you pass me yes.
The book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord.
Many of you have tattoos that says rest in peace, Father. Rest in peace, Mother. God says you're not supposed to do that. Your body is your temple. Your body is supposed to be holy. You're not supposed to mark it up. And you sisters and brothers in Islam, Islam is haram. You must leave off from those religions. God called you Israelites. God never told the Israelites to follow the ways of the Arabs. Islam is haram. All right? Give me Proverbs 3:31.
Bible say when your mom be Muslim and your culture and your home my massive so to the swama munya mama munya mama be Muslim. I said munya face asum and your
Islam was beaten into the backs of your mothers. Islam was beaten into the backs of your fathers. Hold that poster up. Look at this. Look at this. What's going on here? This sister right there. You guys don't run. Come on. This is love. What we showing you. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. This is an Arab slave master. Look at what he's doing to the Israelite sister right here. Do you think she wanted to learn Muslim? No. She was forced and beaten to learn Allah, to learn all the ways of Islam. God says no. Islam is not for you. Islam is for the Arab man. God has something special for you, and that's his laws, statutes, and commandments. But this is the problem of our people.
In Yemen, you heard of the land Yemen and Saudi Arabia?
What in Yemen and Saudi Arabia?
When your people, our people, are in poverty, they offer us jobs. Then when we go to Yemen, they make us slaves. To this day, you have black people from South Africa and Ghana in slavery in Yemen right now.
They say, I was from Mr. Ghana and into mobile Muslim. Oh, you were Juma, Emma, Yemen.
Proverbs 3:31.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
How do you envy your oppressor? Who's your oppressor? We read it in Psalms 83. Who is the oppressor?
Because oppressor, one oppressor. Oppressor, yes, and the oppressor.
Okay, all the other nations. When you read Psalms 83, God gives a list of nations that came together to cut us off from being a nation. The so-called white man, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the Hermetic, some of the Hermetic African tribes, they all came together to cut us off. They divided us in language, religion, culture, slavery. God says, do not envy them. When you follow their religion, you envy the oppressor.
Bible says anybody say your oppressors here. Oppressors say apostle ni apostle boni omoye. Other for the Arab for so the Chinese for so so no more Chinese other nations no omoye no. Anybody say yes sir. Say yes sir. Yeah omo time yeah no more omoye no. Sounds no yes yeah. Anybody say yes sir.
Come on.
Proverbs chapter 3 verse 31.
Listen up to all you people in the audience that follow the Arab man religion, but that follow the white man's religion. This is what God has to say to you. Come on.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. God didn't say choose some of his ways. He says choose none of his ways. Come on.
Bible say ya time.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.